have here in front of me a rifle that to most people would call a terrible, crappy piece of junk rifle. Well, I just wanted to talk about that a little bit today and talk about this gun. Everyone's ideas and expectations about things are different, but the way things are today, everyone is, what's the word? They're too nitpicky, pansies about things. They gotta have the nicest crap ever. Well, guess what? I'm gonna talk about this gun today, and everyone hates this gun. Every review on YouTube, everything is terrible. It's just not good. Everyone hates this gun. This is a Remington 783, 270 Winchester, the camo version, but that doesn't matter. I bought this gun 4 or 5 years ago, probably 5 years ago. I bought it for less than $300, under $300. Put a Vortex Crossfire scope on there, which is a wonderful scope, by the way. Cheap, awesome, just like this gun. Everyone likes to complain about cheap rifles, particularly this one, and I honestly don't know why. So I'll give you my experience with this gun. And I guess we'll just start with this. First of all, the bolt. On my particular gun, I know everyone has problems with these. Everyone complains about everything about them. Well, guess what? The bolt on this thing is just slick. For a $300 rifle, slick as can be. Locks in tight. Everyone kind of complains about this tiny little catch it has right here. Who cares? It's a $300 gun. It works perfectly fine. It works wonderfully. It's nice and slick and solid. Magazine is metal, which is better than any of the cheap guns. They all have plastic magazines, which do work. But this one's metal. And with my particular gun here, I have had no issues. It locks in nice and tight. It doesn't rattle, it's not loose, it doesn't stick out. It slaps in easy every time. Locks in positively, and it just works. It feeds every time. The trigger, is a little 2-stage with the blade in there. Perfectly good trigger for a $300 gun. Works wonderfully. It's not too heavy. It's got a pretty dang good brake on it. It's nothing crazy, but that's pretty dang good. Anyone who says that the Ruger or the Mossberg, any of those rifle triggers are better, no, they're not. The stock on this thing, everyone says it feels and looks like a stock that came out of a toy factory. This thing, for a $300 gun, is just as good or better than any of the other $300, $400 rifles on the market. It's just as good as a Ruger American. It's better than a Savage stock, if you ask me. Everyone, 99 out of 100 people would pick the Savage Axis over this gun. If you say that this gun feels like a toy and the Savage Axis doesn't, you're kidding yourself. Because this stock is way more solid, and I might add, compared to the Ruger American, the Savage Axis, the Mossberg Patriot, any of these cheaper guns, this stock is definitely more comfortable. The grip on it here, it has a little bit of a swell here. It sweeps down. It's a little more vertical than the other ones, and it's just, your hand fits on there perfectly. It just comes up to your shoulder wonderfully, and it's a good, comfortable stock. Is it expensive? No. On top of that, the barrel is perfectly free-floated, and I don't know how well you can see that, but the barrel is perfectly centered in the barrel channel. I'll be damned if I can find Ruger Americans or Savage Axis that have the barrel perfectly centered. Almost every single one that I've seen, and I've seen a lot. I work at a gun counter, so I've seen a lot of guns. They're always uncentered or almost touching one side, or they are touching one side. I have one of these guns. My brother has one of these as well. Perfectly centered, completely free floated, perfect. People that are complaining about this gun, I think it's just because it's a Remington. Remington has had a bad reputation in the last few years, and I understand reasons why. But I just think you're kidding yourself if you think that Savage Axis is better than this. It's just not. And honestly, I like this better than the Ruger American. I know y'all want to punch me in the face, but I honestly like it better. It's more comfortable. The bolt works just as well. It's honestly more smooth. The trigger's just as good. The accuracy on this thing is phenomenal. Yes, I said it. Phenomenal accuracy. I've shot multiple different types of factory ammunition through this thing, and I haven't found a single one that will shoot over an inch and a quarter. An inch and a quarter is the worst shooting ammo. Everything else is an inch or under. I've shot hand loads with it. The last hand loads I shot out of this thing with just a 130 grain Sierra Spitzer. I have shot a half-inch group with this rifle with hand loads, and factory ammo shoots well under an inch every time. It is very safe to say that this $300 rifle is a 3/4 to 1 inch rifle all the time for $300. Cheap scope, basic rings, $300 gun, sub-minute accuracy all the time. I don't know what there is to complain about. It's a hunting rifle. It's not built to be a match competition rifle. Oh, well, it won't hold a 5-shot group, and if I put a bipod on it and put any weird pressures on it, the group opens up. It's a hunting rifle. It's meant to be carried out in the woods and shoot deer, elk, whatever, and it does that quite well. I have seen several deer follow this rifle. Does the job. 270, awesome. I have shot this gun out to 800 yards. I've never taken it past that. I have taken it out to 800 yards with this scope, and believe it or not, yes, I have used the turrets on this Vortex Crossfire to dial, and the tracking is perfect, accuracy is perfect. I've taken it out to 800 yards and made consistent hits on, 15-inch targets out at 800 yards with this gun. Any closer than that, it's just deadly accurate. Last year, or maybe it was 2 years ago, I remember out just shooting some rocks before an elk hunt. Shooting at rocks out at the range out here, it was 640 yards or something. I shot 3 shots. Those 3 shots had to have been within 4 inches, 5 inches of each other, at about 640 yards. 3 consecutive shots with factory ammo out of a $300 gun. You can't ask for more than that. Is it a perfect gun? No. Do I like it more than Bergara, Tikka, Weatherby, all these other rifles? No. But for $300, it is an excellent rifle. Don't let anyone tell you different. I know other people have had different experiences with it. I'm telling you mine. This particular Remington 783 has been a perfect performer since I've had it for 4 or 5 years. It's a wonderful gun. Don't let anyone tell you that it sucks, because it doesn't. If you want something a little better, yeah, spend a couple $100 more, get yourself a little nicer gun. Honestly, if all you have is $300, this gun works. It gets the job done. People nowadays are just so nitpicky about having every little thing perfect, having the perfect piece of gear. You know what the people back in the day used to hunt and kill deer with? I mean, come on. This is a nice piece of equipment to go out and hunt with. I don't have much else to say. Y'all need to quit whining about these cheap rifles. Honestly, all of the cheap rifles out there are good to a certain extent. Like I said, Axis, Ruger American, Mossberg Patriot, the TC Compass. None of them are great, perfect rifles. They're all good. They all get the job done. This particular one just seems to receive the most flack out of all of them, and I don't know why. It's a good rifle, guys. I know it's impossible to find them right now, the way things are going, but if you see them back on the shelf again, and you have a budget of, you want to stay under $400 for sure, don't be afraid to get one of these. I'm telling you, they work.